Here's SpongeBob taking his time while cooking a Krabby Patty. And here he is going absolute God mode in the kitchen. If there's one thing SpongeBob's good at, it's flipping patties. But just how many has he had on his greasy grill over the years? Well, by the end, we'll have seen SpongeBob go from patty prodigy to a seasoned fry cook to being in his full patty-making prime. And we're gonna do that by going through each episode and keeping tabs on every patty that this master fry cook in the making whips up. Starting with the episode, Pickles. When it comes to the fast food biz, there's not really a finer fry cook in the game than the SpongeBob of SquarePants. But even he makes mistakes from time to time, like in the episode Pickles. The episode actually kicks off with him on top form.
First bun, then patty, followed by ketchup, mustard, pickles, extra onions, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and bun, in that order.
And the orders don't stop rolling in.
Bun, patty, ketchup, tomato, bun, patty, ketchup, tomato, bun, patty, ketchup, tomato, bun, patty, ketchup, tomato, bun, patty, ketchup. 1 dozen crying cows on the farm.
But despite handling all these orders of these, the next customer through the Krusty Krab doors is easily SpongeBob's biggest test, Bubble Bass.
I'll take a double triple bossy deluxe on a raft. 4x4 animals.
Biggest in more ways than one. He's a real critic. Well, okay, that's probably taking it a bit too far. He's just seriously hard to please. Oh, and he has like the weirdest order ever.
Light axle grease, make it cry, burn it, and let it...
I got it already, Squidward.
We serve food here, sir.
See what I mean? It doesn't bother SpongeBob though. He whips up the order in no time.
This is pretty good.
I see the bun, the patty, the lettuce, cheese, and onions. Is there anything SpongeBob is forgetting? Like?
You forgot the pickles!
Not the pickles! Turns out Bubble Bass is a stickler for the rules too, and he wants his refund, which does not go down well with all Eugene, as you can imagine.
No, come back on $2!
Mr. Krabs, I know I put pickles on that Krabby Patty.
That $2 is coming out of your paycheck.
Wait!
Making a mistake like that really messes with SpongeBob, like to the point he completely forgets how to make a Krabby Patty.
Let's see. Bun down, then ketchup, then mustard, then bun down. Mustard, then ketchup. Mustard down, bun up, down. Pickles, ketchup, wait!
The poor little guy has like one purpose in life and he's lost it. Well, that and his sanity, but did he really have that to begin with? Also, let's not skip past the 20 pre-prepped patties that are just sitting there on the counter. With his top fry cook seemingly out of it, Krabs gives SpongeBob some time off to relax. But when he goes to check up on him, things are way worse than what we saw just there.
SpongeBob!
Yeah, never mind being in a kitchen. That sponge needs to be in the loony bin. Well, Krabs doesn't quite see it that way. He pushes SpongeBob to his limits and forces him to do what he's always been good at.
Get it, you crustaceous cheapskate? I can't put a patty on a bun with lettuce and top bun together in that order!
With his sanity back, SpongeBob heads to the Krusty Krab to face his fears, and more importantly, Bubble Bass. Sorry to stop you guys in the heat of a Wild West standoff, but who the hell eats a burger with a knife and fork? So this guy's a freak as well as annoying? Gotcha.
Don't forget the pickles.
That's gotta be one of SpongeBob's coldest moments. He talks the talk, but will he walk the walk?
Still no pickles!
Yeah.
You failed again.
All that work just to be laughed at again by the biggest fish this side of the Pacific. Actually, now that you said that, maybe we should take a look at his laugh, and more specifically, his tongue.
He's been hiding the pickles under his tongue.
And
They did know he had a big mouth, in all fairness, so they should have seen that one coming. Either way, this is some pretty deep patty lore for SpongeBob, mainly because if he hadn't have gotten his confidence back, his flippin' days would have been over in season 1. And even when he was having an off day, he managed to rustle up 36 patties. Not bad at all. I know it seems like SpongeBob is the only fry cook that the Krusty Krab has had. I mean, he has worked there since 1999, so that's nearly 30 years of service. But once upon a time, another guy was in the Krusty kitchen flipping burgers, and his name was Jim. Dang, what happened to those luscious locks, Squiddy? I know working with SpongeBob is stressful and all, but it's like a cue ball up there now. Anyway, naturally, Jim was SpongeBob's idol, so with him back in town, he begs Jim to sign his latest patty.
Would you sign my Krabby Patty?
Oh, I don't sign what I didn't make.
Yikes. It gets even worse when Jim steps behind the grill for old time's sake and rustles up a patty that sends even SpongeBob on a food-fueled epiphany.
It's okay.
So he becomes a little self-conscious about his own cooking, which is only fair in the presence of Jim, so he asks his predecessor for a few tips on patty making.
Hold it. Hold it.
Think of this as SpongeBob's Rocky montage, just with more failure and flushing.
Yep, too much mustard, see?
Those patties are gonna total the pipework. Surely. He's chucked 2 down there already. I think Jim's just trying to get some free food. He's doing an awful lot of eating and not a whole lot of helping. I told you it'd clog, but that's besides the point. The real problem here is that SpongeBob clearly isn't living up to Jim's standards, and the little guy thinks he's on the chopping block. So much so that he writes and signs a resignation letter.
That smells like a resignation letter. Oh, this is terrible. No one's making patties.
But Jim catches up to SpongeBob and tells him not only how he left the Krusty Krab, but also that he 100% isn't trying to take his job.
Open our own restaurant and stop lining Old Man K's pockets. Don't you want to have something to fall back on?
Yeah, ha! I could lose my beautiful flowing hair, too.
Oh yeah, that's going pretty good, isn't it, Squiddy? Hindsight is 20/20 in all fairness.
I could lose my beautiful flowing hair, too, but I'm not buying a wig yet.
Oh, so that's how he lost his hair. Parking Squidward's follicle challenges to one side for a sec, Jim marches into Old Man K's office to demand a raise, otherwise he'll quit. I wonder how that went. Yeah, to be fair to Jim, I'd leave too if the boss of the restaurant I helped put on the map laughed in my face when I asked for a raise. SpongeBob, on the other hand, is basically as good as Jim and works for practically nothing. The dude was putting in extra hours just to get better in this episode, which, by the way, when you add that to the previous patties, we get up to 42. And we're about to turn it up a notch from here. He's basically about to step into the seasoned stage of his fry cook career. Well, in terms of quantity of patties made, not chronologically. We all know that Squidward is not the biggest fan of having to work with SpongeBob, and that's putting it politely. But he can hardly force Krabs to get rid of him, especially as Squidward is maybe the worst cook in the 7 seas. You know who isn't, though? A patty building machine. And Squiddy has one made and brings it down to the Krusty Krab to take SpongeBob's place. By the way, for some weird reason, the lines in this episode rhyme, which took me by surprise when I watched it for the first time.
His eye on the grill till he heard a sharp sound that gave him a chill. Wow, it's a deep fry patty cooking machine.
But can it make patties like SpongeBob can?
Shove this in your face.
Oh, it sits like a rock when it lands in me tummy. But I've got me a fry cook and he's always on time.
Despite it not quite being up to SpongeBob standards, Mr. Krabs decides he'll do away with his human fry cook anyway, mainly because a robot doesn't need to be paid. AI! But before he's too hasty, he gives SpongeBob one chance. He's got to defeat the machine in a huge food duel.
Quick as a flash, Squidward pulled the big lever. Then SpongeBob, with spatula held tight in his fist, flung 20 patties. The crowd was impressed.
Wow!
I relate to SpongeBob in this scene so hard, man. This machine might be good, but it's messing with the best, and as the saying goes, the best don't mess. Miss? Mess? I swear I'm not trying to rhyme, it's just contagious. SpongeBob refuses to lose, so he kicks up into second gear to prove his patty worth.
SpongeBob scooped in dozens of patties, filled up he summoned his will, patties right onto the grill.
But the machine has more than a few gears of its own, and starts putting SpongeBob's nose right against the grill.
Let's see how you do against my machine set on high.
The gizmo, it shuddered, it clattered, it shook. Sandy said,
What a schnook. I won't lose to that thing.
Then he raised up 2 spatulas.
So what has the little guy got up his sleeve?
Left like a spring. His hands were a blur. The pan, he fried up 100 without even trying. Squidward.
Now that's more like it, but the machine still isn't done. It starts spitting out patties like there's no tomorrow. Will SpongeBob be able to keep up?
Flying by 2 by dozens. He'd prove to that thing that the gadget flew into bits and died with a boot.
I can't exactly get a number on this, but the narrator says that the patties came flying by 2s, by 3s, then dozens, then hundreds. So I think it's pretty safe to say that there was at least another 325 patties cooked and served by SpongeBob alone in that segment then, which was clearly too many for the machine to handle. In his mission to take out his mechanical rival, SpongeBob had to flip a total of 482 patties, which is a hell of a lot of work just to keep your fracking job. But as we all know, SpongeBob loves working at the Krusty Krab, so he don't care. Believe it or not, there was a time when SpongeBob wasn't behind the grill or even part of the Krusty crew at all. Going back to the very first episode of the series, he was just a budding fry cook who desperately wanted to work at the Krusty Krab. And today's the day he's finally ready.
I'm ready! I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready.
I might have undersold just how ready he is. Anyway, he heads for the Krusty Krab where he's about to march in there, demand a chance to serve on their ship, but there's one thing no one can prepare for: nerves.
For the very first time.
March straight to the manager, look him straight in the eye, lay it on the line, and I can't do this!
Luckily, SpongeBob has one of the most supportive friends in Patrick, and he reminds SpongeBob of just how much this gig means to him.
Who made a spatula out of toothpicks and woodchuck?
I did.
Well, who's a big yellow cube with holes?
I am!
Who's ready?
I'm ready!
Who's ready?
And with Pat's, wise words, he runs off to try and secure the job.
Mission to come aboard, Captain! And now I'm ready.
You don't look that ready anymore, Spongy. And it's not just me who thinks so either, because Squidward seriously doesn't want his noisy neighbor bringing all of his nonsense to work. So he talks to Mr. K to block any dream job move, and Krabs agrees. Although instead of just saying, nah, he gives him one of the weirdest tests of all time.
Hydrodynamic spatula and turbo drive. And don't come back till you get one.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Problem is, Mr. Krabs didn't know who he was dealing with at the time. Such an impossible task SpongeBob is going to make possible. But I mean, who knows how long that's gonna take, sending him on a wild goose chase like that. What if they get busy? They don't have a fry cook? Like, what if there was a certain smell? You know, a certain smelly smell that smells.
Anchovies!
The anchovies completely trashed the restaurant, leaving Mr. Krabs and Squidward without any way to save themselves as the horde of hungry fish go on to attack them. If only there was a certain fry cook with a hydrodynamic spatula with port and starboard attachments who could help.
One order of spatula! One hydrodynamic spatula with port and starboard attachments, and to the kitchen!
So with a literal sea of people to feed, SpongeBob speeds to the kitchen to get to work on some of the finest fast foodsmanship you're ever gonna see. He's gonna need a lot more than 25 patties to feed that lot, but don't worry, SpongeBob's got them covered. There's genuinely too much patty action to count here, but let's try and reverse engineer it. The anchovies turn up on 5 buses that can seat 100 people. But these aren't people, they're anchovies. So by nature, they're gonna be as tightly packed in there as possible. So by my best guess, each bus is carrying around 175 fish. Multiply that by 5, get a grand total of 875 patties served to those ravenous and rude fishies. Which in the span of like 1 minute is bonkers. And no wonder Krabs had no choice but to welcome him aboard the Krusty Crew. So the first time he ever flipped a patty, he had to flip nearly 1,000 of them. We're at the halfway mark now. Mr. SquarePants has managed to make himself and other customers a total of 1,636 patties. But we all know that is nothing. That can barely feed Patrick when he's wanting a snack. Don't worry though, because the next set of episodes are about to send his cooking numbers sky high as he enters his patty making prime. It's not just your run-of-the-mill burgers SpongeBob serves up while at work. Oh no, he's branched out into all sorts of new food ventures, like whatever the hell this is. Squidward can't stand all this fried food junk, and now the customers chomp down on all the ultra-processed stuff is making him kinda nauseous. He ends up telling basically the whole restaurant that he hates Krabby Patties, but the real truth is, he's never had one. As soon as SpongeBob hears that Squidward hasn't tried the jewel in the Krusty Krab's crown, he whips up a fresh one just for him.
Look, man, Squiddy just doesn't want a Krabby Patty. But that don't stop SpongeBob from spending the entire day trying to force feed him one, like first in the toilet.
It's delicious.
And then everywhere else. That's 3 extra patties for all these instances, but in fairness, he's not gonna try and make Squidward try a cold patty, so I'm sure he'll have made all of them from scratch. Squiddy finally caves in though and decides that if he wants to get SpongeBob off his back, he's gonna have to try one of those radioactive slime balls.
Why, this Krabby Patty,
Don't tell me after all the hooting and hollering that this guy's gonna love Krabby Patty.
this Krabby Patty, the most horrible, unappetizing, disgusting excuse for a sandwich slither down my throat it has ever been my displeasure.
Yeah, now that's more like it. As soon as SpongeBob steps away from him though, Squidward can't help but admit that the patty was a smash hit, so much so he does this.
Come on. Oh, so delicious. I gotta have more. I gotta have more.
But after kicking up that much of a fuss, he can't let SpongeBob know how much he likes his cooking, so he tries to set up an order to get his fix.
He'd never let me live it down. I gotta sneak one. Then I'm off the stuff for good.
But now I've learned there's room for all kinds of people in this.
SpongeBob, I need a triple Krabby Supreme with extra sea pickle
Coming right up.
and burn it to a crisp, okay?
Geez, for a guy who didn't know he liked Krabby Patties, he sure as hell has a needy order. Anyway, SpongeBob gets cooking, but an order as rare as a triple Krabby Supreme needs to be hand-delivered.
Triple Krabby Supreme. Triple Krabby Supreme.
Well, why don't you just leave it out here in case they come back?
Including the 3 patties and the triple Krabby Supreme, there's also an additional 9 customers chowing down on some patties, so let's add another 12 to the count here. Seeing as no customers available for the burgers, SpongeBob decides to take an early lunch, which leads to Squidward to loot the trash, looking for his lunch. Before he can sink his teeth into it though, SpongeBob comes rushing in and incinerates the patty as it's too good to be thrown away. So basically, Squiddy is still without his snack, but he's got one last plan. Sneak into the restaurant in the middle of the night and get his way into the patty vault, which exists now, to eat as many of the patties as he possibly can, without being disturbed.
There it is. Holy shrimp! I don't know where to start.
I know it's not a recurring thing, but for whatever reason, Mr. Krabs made SpongeBob store the goods in a vault a few times over the show's history, this episode being one of them, and thanks to a tweet from the show's official account, we know that this vault officially holds 10,581 patties, which is a hell of a lot. So I'm sure eating a few of those in peace and quiet can't hurt.
You and me and nobody.
Squidward?
What are you doing here?
I always come to work at 3 a.m. What are you doing here?
Of course SpongeBob comes to work at 3 a.m. And while he might be a bit dumb, little Sponge ain't that dumb. He knows Squidward's up to something.
You like Krabby Patties, don't you, Squidward?
This is a big misunderstanding. You've got to believe me. Yes! Yes! I admit it, SpongeBob!
Well, at least the cat's out of the bag. Maybe he can have a nice early breakfast at SpongeBob or, not do something crazy. What am I talking about? Have I forgotten what show we're watching? You see, eating this many patties is pretty bad. I don't mean because of the calories or just how unhealthy they are. They actually have a wild side effect.
It's gonna happen. Am I gonna blow up?
No, worse!
My thighs?
I I guess that's why greed is one of the deadly sins. In this episode alone, we saw 10,608 patties, all made by Mr. SquarePants. And while that is a crazy amount, it's even crazier that Squidward ate like half in less than 5 minutes. Also, why does eating a large amount of Krabby Patties make you explode? I guess it doesn't matter. I'm talking about a show where a talking sponge flips burgers and they can set stuff on fire.
Hey, if we're underwater, how could there be a... I'm scared, SpongeBob.
So far, the little guy has cooked up more than his fair share of fast food burgers, but we know he's rustled up a hell of a lot more, like the time he was working double fast when Mr. Krabs opened a drive-thru.
26 orders up. Squidward, are you sure? These customers over here look really, really hungry.
These words, dog.
26 orders to some of them having 2, maybe 3 patties. Yeah, I'll go ahead and say he's fried up around 35 of the KPs right there. Feeding a load of angry, ravenous customers is one thing, but did you know SpongeBob once fed all those creepy fish from rock bottom? You know, these guys?
Hi, guys!
I mean, there's ugly and then there's that. Well, it turns out they're not eating the normal menu, they're eating some leftover slop. So when SpongeBob sees that, he gets straight to work to make them something worth eating.
Oh, yeah. Here, try a sample from the daytime menu.
But will they love his cooking? There's only one way to find out. Okay, so they didn't like us cooking. Whatever. Cooking and food and all that stuff is subjective anyway. We all like different things. So we think it's time SpongeBob went back to basics and served people who love his food. Like the time he used a trident to supercharge his cooking.
Oh, I wish these Krabby Patties had just served themselves.
Is anyone else getting Fantasia vibes from this? But instead of those little buckets, it's burgers. It's a rootin' tootin' shame these little guys are gonna get eaten because I 100% I wish I had one. Cards on the table though, seems like they kinda wanna get chomped up. Can you even imagine going into a restaurant where the food is sentient and it throws itself in your mouth for you to eat? Well, regardless of what we all think, Mr. Krabs wants more of those walking burgers, but SpongeBob can't quite summon the same spell he did earlier, and instead creates these monstrosities. I'm not actually sure which is more dangerous, SpongeBob behind the grill with an all-powerful trident or a case of the hiccups.
SpongeBob, hurry up!
Oh, no!
Mr. Krabs goes into the kitchen to check what all the commotion is about, only to find half of his stock laying freshly fried on the floor, wall, or being shot directly at customers. That's a hell of a lot of perfectly good food going to waste. Luckily though, there's no waste at all in our next episode. In fact, SpongeBob is way behind on his orders, so much so that when he returns with his new spatula, he has this many waiting for him.
Piled up.
And don't forget these.
That's easily like 15,000 tickets just sitting right there. And although we don't see SpongeBob make each one individually, he does say this.
We're catching up, but we got an empty grill here.
So he's all caught up, and there's a fresh 25 patties on his grill. Hey, that Sizzle Master thing sure looks good. It managed to power him through 15,000 orders. So if we do the same sort of math as we did for the drive-thru, you know, one order sometimes being 2 or 3 patties, that would put us right around 22,425 total patties for this. Oh, and by the way, that Sizzle Master spatula was built by Plankton to steal the formula, but it didn't end so well for him, as per usual.
Oh no.
So for this short but sweet compilation, SpongeBob has managed to grill and serve a grand total of 22,614 Krabby Patties. Pretty good going. It'll feed Patrick for like 10 minutes. Now, you guys might think that the Krusty Krab is the biggest food hotspot in Bikini Bottom, and 99% of the time, you'd be right. But in Patty hype, the Bikini Bottomites are kind of tired of the same old, and the Krusty Krab turns into a bit of a ghost town, and even starving fish are turning their nose up at the grub.
Finest under the sea!
Krabby Patties, huh? Look at this place. I mean, what is the theme here? Underwater? It's boring. Where's the pizzazz?
Ouch, I guess the customer's always right. So Krabs tries to come up with a way to draw people back in, but they're all pretty trash, so SpongeBob steps up with an idea of his own.
Hold on, me bucko! Food's on the way! SpongeBob, bring this man some grub before he keels over! You got money, right?
Yeah.
That's not spoiled, that's a pretty patty. SpongeBob's idea of bringing some of that pizzazz needed to reel the fish back.
Pretty Patties, available in 6 designer colors.
I don't get what's so funny, Eugene. The kid's trying to save your behind by coming up with something pretty cool. Well, clearly Krabs doesn't see it that way, and neither does Squidward.
Give me an orange patty with extra purple.
Oh, you made him cry. Come on, he was just trying to do you guys a favor. In a fit of rage, SpongeBob leaves his post on the Krusty Crew and decides to go it alone to the Pretty Patties, and he turns to Patrick to help to get this new business off the ground.
How long have we been sitting here? What if Mr. Krabs was right?
Maybe not the best person to go into business with, but hey, at least he means well. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, though, and see how they handle their first customer.
Purple is my favorite color. This isn't half bad. Pretty Patties is the best idea ever!
By the way, I know these aren't called Krabby Patties, but that's exactly what they are, just painted a color. So you can bet your bottom dollar I'm counting these towards the total. But anyway, take that, Mr. Krabs. Pretty Patties rule. And it's not long before Eugene sees just how big the patty hype is getting.
It's easy to see that Pretty Patties are popular.
Pretty patties?
But just what is it about them that drives bikini bottom feeders wild?
It's the colory pizzazz. It has to be.
They match our purses!
They remind me of home.
Seeing that the boys are making more money than he ever has, Krabs speeds down to Conch Street to see what all the fuss is about, but it turns out there's even more demand than he thought.
Who's number 46,853?
Whoa, and that's past customers. So all those fish you just saw are to still be counted? I'll go over the math about all this in a sec, but for now, Krabs has a plan to get his cut of this action. He hits SpongeBob where it hurts and dangles the carrot of the Krusty Krab in his face.
It's the key to the Krusty Krab. She's yours now.
Yep, he swaps one business for another, but it turns out that it's not just blowing up that's a side effect when you eat all those patties.
Ladies and gentlemen, Pretty Patties is now under no management. I'm ready.
We want a refund, Krabs.
What? Look what I got under my kilt.
Look at our tongues!
We want our money back. Your dumb Pretty Patties turned my face purple!
So with a horde of angry fish wanting a refund, Krabs is ruined overnight and is totally businessless. Serves him right for not believing in SpongeBob from the get-go. Now let's get back to the math. SpongeBob has already served over 40,000 fish, and clearly people were coming from far and wide to try the craze. I think it's only fair to say that the gigantic pile of patties that sat behind him was enough to feed everyone again once over, so let's say that's another 46,853 patties. So if we add that to the other patties he made during this episode, it means that his new business venture helped him make 93,706 burgers. Hot dog, not bad considering he was a laughingstock for a third of the episode. So with patty hype, that brings our running total of patties to a seriously impressive 128,563. Now, not even Patrick could put a dent in that number, probably, but that's not all. Obviously, we don't have every single burger flipped in the show, so let me do some quick maths here for you so we can figure out the true number of patties SpongeBob has made. So he's been working for the Krusty Krab since 1999. On average, they serve around 180 people a day, 630 people a week. There's been 1,387 weeks since he got the gig and help wanted, so that's a grand total of around 873,810 customers, which is a whole lot, but not every single one of them wants to buy only one Krabby Patty. Some of them will want to buy 2, 3, maybe a triple Krabby Supreme, or heck, even a couple of kids' meals. So for variance's sake, I've calculated that the true number of Krabby Patties made by SpongeBob SquarePants is 2,140,833, or enough to feed Bikini Bottom 4,000 times over. Hey, he's just doing what he loves, and he's pretty good at it. Well, if you want to see more SpongeBob stuff, then check out the other videos on our channel. Or, if you've not quite scratched your cartoon itch, then click the video on screen right about now. Thanks for watching.